Let's discuss. Hey everyone, it's Rachel back again with another video, and today I'll be checking out a new track from Veil of Maya called Red Fur, and this comes with the album announcement we've all been waiting for. Mother will be out on May 12th, so we're very much looking forward to that. The track list is out as well with pre-orders, so you can see which of the newer singles from them are on the album, which are not. It looks like this will be the third single taken from the album. I'm very keen to hear the full thing, but also a new track from them. I'll link the music video I'll be using in the reaction portion of this video, as well as any pre-orders for the album, social media for Veil of Maya, all that good stuff in the description of this video. Other than that, I'm going to stop talking and we are going to get straight into it. Oh, that transition was mean! Bassy and that drop into the chorus too. Very atmospheric there too. Part 2 to be continued. Veil of Maya, Red Fur, let's discuss. I like Godhead, but I think as time has gone on since release, it's slowly kind of trickling off the radar, not going on the playlist so much. I think when the full album comes out, I'm hoping everything clicks for me in full, like the connection between the singles and stuff, because Synthwave Vegan, I really enjoy that track. I think that this single will probably end up being my favorite though, with this, the chorus, with how techie and kind of interesting it is at parts, and I think the most interesting single for me so far, for what I'm paying attention to when I'm listening through. It has the catchiness, which I think Lucas just does such an amazing job at making these choruses really something special, and having that sort of ability to flip from very aggressive, midst of a breakdown type of sound over to something completely poppy really fast. So that I feel like is a weapon they'll continue to use with this record, and I'm hopeful that they will. I don't think that Godhead needed to have anything like the chorus on this song or anything. It really could have been more in like the guitar work and the breakdown on this track is a great example of what I mean about like what I find the most exciting with this track. That sort of technical work, and that sticks out to me a lot, and I think I've kind of associated more with Veil of Maya recently, like than a lot of other things that I've been listening to. Especially, as I've mentioned, I've been listening to more very heavy stuff, stuff that rides on the deathcore, hardcore line, and Veil of Maya is kind of stepping into something that's a little bit more like with the electronic elements, and it has that sort of, like with their album art looking kind of, well, I would argue that like Matriarch has a similar vibe to it, but this one has like some of the purples and blue colors that make it sort of like techie or spacey, or that type of vibe that it's giving off. And also in their profile picture on streaming services, Spotify, it's got that same like purple color to it. So I suppose just like the mood that's been given off with these newer singles is something different, but I am hopeful that like some of the stuff even on, Matriarch is a great album, False Idol, those two are top for me. But I like going back in their discography to ID, and everything that they've done has really shaped where they are now. So I just feel like with the weight, with where they are in their careers and stuff, it's a very big record for going forward. So with the 3 singles in consideration, I think of all the newer singles that they've done, Outsider is probably my hands down favorite. And so I'm still hopeful that we'll get something that feels a bit more cohesive than these singles do individually. Even this song, I think as a whole, it's a bit like all over the place, which I think is a bit intentional as well, and I think the singles give that same feel. So hopefully, what I'm hopeful for is that when the full album comes out in May, listening through to the tracks in order, hearing the spaces that fill in between the singles, it kind of makes all the rest of it make sense, because a lot of times that's what happens. And there's nothing that they've really done with these singles or any of their newer stuff that I've actively disliked or been like, oh, it's just been like a few tracks have felt not quite up to the level that the rest of them have been. The majority of the rest of them, Outrun, Outsider, those both were like, as soon as those came out, they were on repeat for me. They stayed on repeat. Outsider is still one that I put on the playlist fairly regularly. So I don't want to make it sound like I'm not at all excited. I think that it's just the weirdest layout of singles I've felt from a Veil of Maya release. That has me like a little bit skeptical that I may not love this record as much. But then when I look at the singles that we do have, there's nothing I can pinpoint that I'm like, oh, this like, so I feel like I'll be wrong once everything comes to light. Anyway, wow, that was a very long-winded way to talk about that. In that last chorus, you've got a lot like that little like the voice effect, and that kind of drives that. I don't want to say the chorus melody because it's a bit different, but that's definitely like a direct relation to pop, and things being used in heavier music like that I think is fairly common now, but it's still something like with the Veil of Maya, hearing those things, it makes me kind of catch on a little bit quicker and wonder if it's like some indication of what's to come with this album, because we've been anticipating it for so long. But it has I think a very big contrast between some of the parts, and there's not a huge focus on like blending them, it doesn't seem. It's more like a flip type of thing. But this has why I'm happy with this one over the rest of them is at the same time as it has like that sort of eyebrow raising guitar playing with some of the riffs on this are just stellar, but at the same time as it has what I'm looking for in that department, there's also a lot of melody, a lot of I think flexing of Lucas's vocals and his range here. So that's what I'm hopeful for on the album as well. So I think it's a strong indicator for what's to come. I was hoping they weren't really done with this style of chorus, this style of you know, really the more melodic side of their band. I know that's somewhat controversial. This is another band, I was talking about it with, when I was talking about North Lane recently with Marcus Bridge becoming the vocalist, but this is another band that when they changed a little bit, changed their sound quite like early on in their discography, it's been something people have really held on to throughout time and not really let go. They have some classic songs, so I think it's a band that's really held to a standard that not all bands in this subgenre or genre of music are necessarily, so I think they do catch a lot of speculation and talk with people expecting from them what they've done in the past, when that's probably never gonna happen again, it's fair to say. But I'm trying to give a fair shot. I'm liking what I'm hearing. I like a lot of the sounds and the experimentation that they've sort of done with this. I guess with this track, though it's my favorite of the singles, I don't think it's my favorite way they've sort of incorporated that sound, like that more, the electronics and stuff. But this is my favorite after one listen, and I do feel like the more I listen to it, the more I'll enjoy it as well. So I'm pretty confident that until, you know, maybe another one comes and proves me wrong, if there is another one coming, this will be my favorite single once the record comes as well, in terms of what's out off the record thus far. So those are my thoughts. I'm excited for this album, a little bit nervous as well, but that's, I think when I really love a band the way that I love Veil of Maya, that's to be expected. Pre-orders are live, so I'll link those in the description. I will link the Redford music video in the description as well. Anything you may need related to Mother, which is the upcoming record, out on May 12th. Also in the description, you can find my Linktree, which will have the Patreon link. I've been working on the content. We're doing our monthly streams. I've been updating the playlist for Tier 3 people. A lot going on there, so if you're interested in checking out what content I have available for the tiers, that is in the Linktree, as well as the invite for the Discord server, which is where the community is based. For my YouTube channel, we've got a lot of really lovely people in there. Music-related conversation, as well as conversation unrelated to music, so just a bunch of music lovers running a community. If you're interested in joining, that'll be there. As always, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it.